I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again. Huh, good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
Water. Comes in many flavors to the discerning palate. Mondstadt's water is crisp and pure, while water from Liyue has an endure. Bow your head.
Gotcha. I'm going in. Let's light it up.
Fallen leaves, adorn my...
Let the mighty be humbled.
Busted.
One with nature.
Huh? Everybody stand!
As one with wind and cloud.
Be sanctified.
Take it easy. No, my sword! Let me weave you. Teamwork is strength!
Torn to oblivion.
Everybody stand back! Witness the power of Gugwa! Know my soul!
Now you shall perish.
Fire hazard! Rain outlines your fate. Know my sword! Ring cutter! Flip the ship down! Break a leg and leap! Teamwork is strength!
sword!
Time for a light show! Witness the power of Gugwa. Rain outlines your festive retreat! Your grand finale! Going in! Let's light it up! The fuse is lit!
You're in for a little...
Out of the frying pan! Let the show begin!
Come a little... You're in for a little shock.
Strike!
You're in for a little shock.
Come on! We can do it! You're toast!
Try not to enjoy this too much.
No turning back! Quiver! Nice and spicy!
You're in for a little shock.
Off we go! Booba, get them! No, my sword! Let me weave you a verse. Everybody stand back! Huh? Out of the frying pan, into the fire! Eat this!
Surrender and I'll be gentle. You're in for a little shock.
Teamwork is dreamwork! Rain cutter! You're toast! Nice and spicy! Wait, did I hear that right? Monsieur Neurvalet, are you sure you'd like to take over the case yourself?
That's right.
No, but why? Technically speaking, Kate...
Neverlet! Sadine! Hey there! What are you two talking about?
Ugh, Traveler and Paimon, please help me talk our Chief Justice out of this. This is completely unprecedented. How can we have the Udex acting like a private...
Thank you for your concern, but I currently have no such plans. Oh, apologies. I took your question in earnest, but it now...
So, what is it exactly? It sure sounds serious.
A Melusine named Kiara received a threat letter.
And then?
That is all the information I have acquired at...
I have no idea why you're so hung up over... I've checked the schedule in advance, and it seems like there aren't any trials today. So
Thank you for understanding.
then I shall return to my post for now. Should anyone visit while you are away...
Judging from Sadine's reaction, it must be pretty rare for you to investigate stuff personally.
I cannot tell you just yet, but it reminded me of... There could be complicated conflicts of interest behind all this, so I must eliminate all risk.
Come on, stop being so secretive!
It is not my intention to keep you in the dark, but I need some time to revisit. Long story short, a little more than 400 years ago, I became the Udex of Fontaine. There were few people I could trust, but I had two subordinates who were exceptionally trustworthy and capable. Carol, a Melusine.
They must have been amazing people to receive such high...
Indeed. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to protect them. The reforms damaged the interests of some, and the more conservative faction took advantage of Carol's identity to instigate political unrest. The incident resulted in Carol taking her own life, and Vautrin being exiled. From then on, I've been especially careful when dealing with... All Melusines used to live a secluded life away from human society. I granted their wishes when some of them, including Carol, asked me to bring them to the court. Many common folk believe that I share a special bond with the Melusines, and whatever they do can... Some of them, especially those who hold a grudge against me, I have nothing against the opinions of others. But the moment a whirlpool of conspiracy forms, it inevitably affects... It has already happened once.
Even so, why do you have to be the one to... There's the guards, the Marechaussee Phantom, and the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol. Aren't they more than enough to figure out what's going...
Based on prior experience, there is a high chance that those who hold hostility towards me do not belong to the same department. The political system of Fontaine is relatively complex, and involves the interests of multiple different factions. However, since I am technically an outsider in Fontaine, a lot of trouble could be avoided if I personally took...
Outsider? But aren't you the Chief Justice of Fontaine? Why would...
I understand where you are coming from, but there is not necessarily a connection between my responsibilities. You know very well about my true identity, and have even met others of my kind in other nations. Even though I was born with a human form, there is a fundamental difference between... Taking on the role of Chief Justice does not make me a part of this community. In fact, the status I was granted has prevented me from forming deeper bonds with others. I have lived in Fontaine for a long time, but I do not belong here. That is why I call...
Yeah, we have nothing to do with all those organizations anyway. So how about we come with you and... Let's team up and round up all the bad guys.
That does not sound like a bad idea. I rarely investigate cases on my...
Oh, Paimon started...
Let us go. We should visit Kiara for...
So Neuvillette feels like he doesn't truly belong here in Fontaine, but Paimon feels like he has a kinda skewed perspective on a lot of things. Paimon's been thinking. But since you're the Hydro Dragon, would a dragon out of water suit you?
I never thought I'd see him.
Kiara.
remember. You're the Traveler and Paimon.
Aw, she's adorable! Hey there, it's...
Thanks for the compliment. Is there anything I can do for you?
I heard from Sidine that you received a threatening letter.
A threatening letter? Oh, right! I remember now. The letter fell through the crack in my door as I was heading out this morning. It said something about catching me, so I thought someone wanted to play hide and seek. But Sidine told me it was a threatening letter, and that I could be in danger.
Have you run into any suspicious-looking people recently?
Suspicious-looking people? What counts as suspicious? Ah!
Did you think of...
Nope. I don't remember meeting anyone like...
Do you still have the letter with you? I want you to show...
Oh, let's see.
Now then, get lost. If you don't leave the a simple threat. Neither the handwriting nor the content itself. We can't rule out that possibility. Since you can't think of anyone suspicious, I will be heading back to the Palais. Kiara, you should come with us.
Sure! Wait, no. I still have a case to work on. I promised Alof that I'd check on her place later.
But you are being watched right now. Going off on your own could be dangerous.
And that's where we come in to help. We'll stay with Kiara and make sure she's safe. With us around, anyone scheming to hurt Kiara can forget about it!
Thank you, Traveler. Big Sis Paimon.
All right, let us go our separate...
We'll take her to a lost place right away! So, Kiara?
Let me think. 1, 2, 10? I can't remember. But I remember coming to the Court of Fontaine with Carol and Neuvillette. That must have been a long time ago.
Carol? Didn't Neuvillette mention her just now? That was more than 400 years ago! Why would Paimon be a big sister to you?
My memory isn't that good, but Carol told me I could address others based on how I feel about them. Paimon feels a lot more grown up than me, so you're a big sis.
Huh. Paimon sees. Hey, Traveler, did you hear that? Strange. Paimon felt like someone was following us.
Olaf!
Kiara, you're here. Huh? Wait, aren't these two...
Oh, they're the Traveler and Big Sis Paimon.
I thought so. What brings you here? Did you run into any trouble?
It's not really trouble any...
May I begin inspecting...
Of course.
No hazards detected. You've cleared the...
That was quick.
Well, I took a look around the shop. Neuvillette says that us Melazines have special eyes that can see things people can't. Things like bloodstains. No matter how hard you try to clean them up, we Melazines...
All right. Now that you hear me out. I'm planning to release an outfit for children next month and wanted to hire you as my model. Is that okay with you?
Of course! Is there anything I need to do?
Please wait a moment while I take your measurements. The sample should be a
Seems like they get along, huh? What are you looking at? Is there really someone watching us? Shh!
Strange. Why isn't he back yet?
Gotcha! Ah! Charlotte, what are you doing here? Oh, wait, don't tell Paimon you're the one who sent Kiara that threatening letter. But you don't seem like the type...
Threat letter? What threat? This is starting to feel like an interrogation. Okay, I'll be straight with you. I don't know the slightest thing about that threat letter you mentioned. I only wanted to follow Monsieur Nouvelet and request an interview with him.
You want to interview him?
That's right. I'm not the only one, you know. Interviewing him is every journalist's dream. But it's not an easy task to accomplish. The Palais Mermonia rarely accepts appointment requests from us. So imagine how surprised I was seeing him out on the streets today. It seemed like you were investigating something too. Of course, I'll make sure to turn in my manuscript to him for review. I have my principles, and I'd never publish an article without the consent of all parties and—
Yeah, we're doing a secret investigation that...
I see. Well, if you say so, I guess I'll— In exchange, could you tell me what the—
All right.
What? Someone's targeting a cute little—
Shh, not so...
It just so happens that I did an interview with Kiara. Last month, in fact. I'll ask my colleagues about it. Who knows? We might find something. But I gotta warn you, even if I keep my lips sealed—
Why?
People care a great deal about Monsieur Nouvelet's each and every move. Some may have already realized that something was up. Besides, the case involves melazines, so... Anyway, I'll get going now. Watch yourselves, all right?
Well, that was a nice chat. What?
What do you think? The design looks pretty good, huh?
I think it's great!
Huh. It's very pretty indeed.
Coran! What are you doing here? It seems that you just...
As I passed by the Palais Mermonia, I heard that Nouvelet was investigating a case. Technically speaking, he and I are under an employer-employee relationship. It didn't... I happened to have some time at the moment, and came to take a...
Ah, Nervalet sure is lucky to have someone like you.
Leave this to me.
Okay then, we'll leave Kiara...
Oh, you're back. Is everything all right?
We ran into Clorinde. She offered to...
That is good to hear. I trust her abilities.
We thought so too.
I've been looking over the case records, specifically inspection reports submitted by Kiara. I've come up with two plans. On one hand, I could start with Kiara and track down. On the other, I could also analyze the conflicting interests of these major cases and confirm my...
They both sound like pretty solid plans, but can you really finish browsing through all these...
Don't worry. I'm a fast reader when it comes to official documents. After all, I have several hundred years of review.
We'll help you read through them. We have nothing else...
Thank you. I will continue looking through the ones piled up on the desk, but feel free... Have you made any progress?
We skimmed through some of them, but there wasn't anything useful. Oh, there's so many documents lying around.
I would love to answer that question, but the truth is I've never made a precise calculation myself. If memory serves me right, there should be at least 100,000 cases.
Whoa, that's...
That might be how it seems from another's perspective, but trials and official... There are many documents here.
You read Paimon.
All right, let us take a break then.
Even though resting is a part of taking a break, all the silence is making Paimon feel really awkward.
Please pardon my lack of consideration. People rarely come to the Palais Mermonia for Would you like to have some drinks, perhaps? You must be thirsty after all.
Ooh, drinks! Thank you! Paimon wonders what Novelette likes to drink. Oh, maybe he's a fan of really fancy wines. He seems like the type of person who'd own an entire... What's inside these glasses? It looks just like water.
An astute observation. It is indeed water.
So it's just plain old water?
What did you think it was?
Since you're the Chief Justice...
This water is indeed very special. It would not be an overstatement to call it sophisticated. I believe you've already tried Fonta. In fact, there are many other drink factories in Fontaine. Said water is sourced from all across Tevat, including Here is one of their latest products. Water from Sumeru's up. If I were to comment on their mouthfeel... the waters of Cider Lake warm the... Distinct differences exist between the waters of each area.
Really? Let Paimon try!
What do you think?
Nope.
How regrettable. It seems like you still have a long way to go in refining your tastes.
Hey, this doesn't have to do with refining our taste. Paimon's pretty sure most ordinary people can't tell the difference. How did you do it? Oh, could it be because you're the Hydro Dragon? We are allowed to bring that up, right? Oh, Paimon's been wanting to ask this for ages. If you're the Hydro Dragon, why... Sorry. Paimon was just curious. You don't have to answer.
There's nothing to hide. I was simply organizing my thoughts. I accepted this position because I wanted to seek out answers to questions that have perplexed me.
Questions? Are there really things you can't figure out?
Many, in fact. But the one question that puzzles me the most concerns my own existence. In essence, I neither know why I was born in this form, nor do I... For a long time, my memory was rather incomplete. With regard to the primordial sea, for example, I used to only be able to vaguely recall its connection to me, but I was unaware of what that connection was exactly. Perhaps the elemental dragons of other nations may have some form of an answer. However, they are scattered across all of Tevat. Abruptly visiting could very well pose an...
True. Some of them have very...
I have been holding on to these unanswered questions for a long time. But there is one thing I've discovered along the way. My emotions easily resonate with those of others. Even I don't have the slightest idea what they mean. My guess would be that there are at least some similarities between humans and myself. By observing their behavior, perhaps I could one day understand the meaning of my
Have you made any progress then?
Perhaps, but I find such progress difficult to describe. As an outsider, chances to engage in... That's why I'm quite thankful for this chat. Such opportunities are rare.
Are we gonna continue reading these documents?
I wasn't able to find any leads, even after browsing through most of the documents. But while we were on the...
Water? Do you mean...
That's right. The Fountain of Lucine is where all of Fontaine's waters converge. If there really were an organization attempting to use Melusines against me, they should also... Perhaps we'll be able to find some new leads by sensing the hydro element within the fountain.
Huh. Why didn't...
Perhaps we should go. There shouldn't be too many people near...
Take it easy.
Monsieur Neuvillette?
I probably shouldn't disturb them.
Looks like we got lucky today. There's hardly anyone around.
What should we do next? Oh, Traveler, can you still hear the voices from the fountain?
Perhaps leave the investigation to me. I need you to take a...
A safe distance? Neuvillette... Oh, it's glowing! Thank you for bringing us here, Monsieur. The Court of Fontaine is truly incredible. There's so many things.
I understand your excitement, but there's no need to thank me. Although I have responded to your wishes, it was not without personal interest. Melusine's special sight make them especially suited for joining the Maréchaussée Phantom. I'm certain you'll become an indispensable part of Fontaine.
I know, but not only can I repay you for your kindness, but also...
But a meaningful life also comes with its risks.
It's definitely the safest to just stay in the village. But I want to see the outside world nonetheless. In truth, I've never really understood the purpose of my existence. For almost 20 years, we've stayed in our village without finding any answers.
I understand your confusion. In fact, I feel the same way. I too came here for an answer to my questions about my own existence.
Really? Could you tell us what we should do to fit in as you did? The truth is, many people threw rocks at us today and told us to go back to our village. It hurt a...
Logically speaking, both time and effort are essential when different species attempt to peacefully coexist. Different identities and ways of thinking all contribute to strengthening the... There aren't many suggestions I can share, because just like you, I haven't fully integrated into this society.
Oh, I see. I'm confident that we'll find the meaning of...
I believe in you, but you shouldn't lose sight of the difficulties ahead. If you run it...
Huh? Is he the person I met?
Yes?
That stone-faced human. He didn't even bother to look at me when I tried talking to him.
He is an earnest man. There will be plenty of opportunities to work together.
Thanks, but no need.
Oh. Hello! I'm Carol! A Melazine!
Get away from here! I'm calling the guards!
Please, calm down. I don't mean to cause any harm.
Hard to say.
Yeah, we should probably stay away from these monsters.
Why should we trust this species from who knows where anyway? I can't believe Nervilet allowed them into the court of Fontaine just like—
Exactly! That so-called Chief Justice even granted them official positions. Not only that, but they're now responsible for investigating cases—
Go away! Quit acting innocent!
I'm not leaving. I won't let you say bad stuff about him. We joined the Mare Chaussee Phantom and solved lots and lots of cases. We've never done anything wrong.
Solving cases? With Nervilet in cahoots with you. You could have fabricated it all, and no one would— So tell me, how can you guarantee that you Melazines aren't involved in anything that occurred recently?
Didn't I tell you before? Don't go advertising if you're not a good talker.
Vautrin?
Aside from spreading unjustified rumors, if you continue insulting members of the Mare Chaussee Phantom, the Special Security and Surveillance Patrol has every right to subject— There have indeed been an increase in cases recently, perhaps due to the shifting currents of conspiracy.
Even the captain of the security patrol is on their side. Nervilet's newly reformed police force is already corrupt to the core.
how can two completely different species possibly coexist?
You heard that?
Yeah. I don't understand. Why won't anyone
There have been rumors saying that you were born from calamity, and that you inherently bring danger to those around you. There are countless negative rumors about you floating around in Fontaine. It's near impossible for you to become a part of this.
Monsieur Nervilet said that we needed to put both time and effort in. I don't know how long it— I still want to try a little harder. Thank you for bailing me out earlier. Okay, I won't be taking any more of your time. I paint—
Give them to me. We'll hand them out together. The faster we get—
Monsieur Nervilet.
Medals of Peace, awarded to you, and thank you for your continued dedication in the past 5 years. You've taken—
I think I'll pass.
Hey, don't say that. It won't be long before Melazines begin living peacefully with the humans.
Don't keep your hopes up. We've barely scratched the surface.
You blockhead!
Vautrin brings up a good point. The trust humans have placed in you is still very fragile. Any small incident could undermine the hard work you've put in. Please be on your guard for the next few—
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it.
Medal of Peace? Peace isn't going to give us back—
Are you sure we should do this? We're no match for Nervilet, even with all our powers combined.
What if...
Nah, not gonna happen. As long as he remains in his position, there's no chance he'd take us out personally. There are rules even he must comply with in the political sphere. Unless he wants to become an enemy of Fontaine. So quit worrying and just go ahead with it. I've already planned out the murder. Once we lay the blame on the Melusines as the person who brought them to the court of Fontaine, Nervilette will be left with no excuse.
I guess you're right. Ugh, if he just left things the way they were, it...
Turn the murderer in!
Melusines can't be trusted! That goes for Nervilette, too!
Peaceful coexistence? What a joke. Get out of the court of Fontaine and don't ever come back!
The results of the investigation are in, Captain Vautrin.
Go on.
There is no direct evidence, but reasonable inference indicates that the ones controlling the situation are support. They tricked Miss Carroll into going to the crime scene and pressed charges against her. After that, they incited panic among the people in order to make Monsieur Nervilette confess. The guards were stopped by the enraged mob and couldn't intervene in time. Miss Carroll...
And she called me a blockhead. A little investigation would have cleared things up. Why didn't she wait until we'd established the truth?
The situation had rapidly escalated to a physical altercation between
That is in...
Captain Vautrin, should I present these results to...
There's no need. Notify the guards to restrict public access to all...
Restrict access to...
There's something I've never told Carol. I had a little sister named Ilaria. She's just like Carol in every possible way. Innocent, kind. From the moment I met Carol, I knew that she'd be easily manipulated by others.
Looks like she was unfazed by that.
Yes. In fact, some of her spirit must have rubbed... I should have known. Those cowards don't have the guts to confront Nervilette. They even avoided causing trouble for me. Can you understand how I feel? Right now, there's only one thought on my mind.
I understand, but I'm certain Monsieur Nervilette wouldn't accept that as a solution.
That's exactly why we need to keep this a secret. Give me the list of suspects. I will take responsibility for everything.
Did you know? They're hearing a major case today, and the criminal is... Apparently, he resorted to personal measures to seek revenge for Carol, and settled the score with the group that framed...
I'm thinking... we should try our best to bail him out when the trial...
Bail him out?
Shh, keep it down! Haven't you realized? Both Vautrin and Carol are Nervilette's most trusted subordinates. After every... Besides, now that the old regime has been uprooted, Nervilette's status is secure as can be. As long as we redirect public opinion...
Vautrin sought vengeance for his friend for a valid cause. Please, think about it. If the same thing had happened to you, wouldn't you feel the... Yeah, that's right!
This whole thing started because of those despicable cowards who levied false accusations against Carol.
Monsieur Nervilette.
Mr. Vautrin is innocent! He's innocent!
Order! I acknowledge your arguments. Vautrin, your revenge could be seen as a form of justice. I understand your decision, which is why I cannot help but feel regret and even grief about the judgment I must now impose. Personal justice does not equate to justice as defined by the law. To execute your plan for revenge, you abused your authority and conducted informal executions. Your actions have thus violated the law. Therefore, You will be declared guilty.
What?
That can't be! Monsieur Nervilette, please give this a little more thought.
Vautran, my friend, is there anything else you want to say?
Nervilette, what have I done to deserve this? I've closely followed every one of your orders. Can't you? Is this what justice means to you? Answer me, Nervilette!
Order. Since there have been no further objections, the Oratrice will now deliver the final verdict regarding the charges against Mr. Vautran. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinal, Mr. Vautran will be declared guilty.
Goodbye, Monsieur Nervilette.
This all happened because of Carol's naive ideas.
How can different species peacefully coexist anyway?
Hey, stop spacing out! What's wrong? Are you not feeling well?
Apologies, it seems like my memories got the better. I tried my best to suppress the power of Hydro within myself, but it seems like it still caused due to my negligence. The overflow of emotions and memories must have affected you as well.
Wow. The Hydro Dragon is more powerful than Paimon thought. Anyways, the last time we came here, the Traveler only heard voices from the Fountain of Lucine.
It is as you said. This might be because I am different. It is not only the fountain. I can sense emotions from all waters in Fontaine. Rivers, lakes, and...
That sounds odd.
But I rarely ever do anything like this. Emotions carried by water are always chaotic and disconnected. As an outsider, having my mind occupied with irrelevant which ones? It's fine. I prefer not to speak of those memories. That does not mean It was a coincidence, but perhaps it is a good thing. You should now understand why I believe there to be a conspiracy behind all this. These two...
Paimon's starting to lose track of what you're saying. Don't leave Paimon out of the conversation. Paimon wants to help too.
Then let us get back to the point. While I was investigating the fountain, I discovered something strange. I did not sense too much hatred towards me within its accumulated emotions. I don't know what caused this to happen, but it seems like there won't be a shortcut to finding the organization that... However, I did find some resentment directed towards Kiara. If I remember...
Oh! Didn't we read about that in one of the documents?
You've read about it. In that case, the resentment should have...
Huh? What are you doing here? I was just about to look for you at...
Navia! Nice to see you again! Is there...
I've heard some things, but I'm not Rumors are abroad that someone's scheming against Melusines, and that you're... So I told the Spina di Rosula to keep an eye out for leads. We've had unfamiliar faces
Thank you. Where did you hear about all this?
The Chief Justice out on investigation, accompanied by the Traveler from afar. You talked to Kiara, but didn't ask her to keep things secret. People curious to know asked around for information, then it was only...
So that's what Charlotte meant.
Indeed. I did not expect that this could be kept hidden for too long, but the rumors still spread faster than I imagined.
know, it could be because you attract more attention than you think. Anyway, any progress with the investigation?
The suspects who threatened Kiara might have to do with a certain smuggling case, but it is still uncertain if there is in fact another party behind all this. We are planning to return to the Palais Mermonia to revisit some details and identify the senders of that threatening letter.
All right, then I'll round up the Spina di Rosula and follow up on their progress. Wait for my word. Ta-ta!
Neverlet, do you think there'll be any problems now that the word is out?
I have already considered that possibility, and I do not think that there will be any. As a matter of fact, once the word gets out, no one would dare to harm Kiara in broad daylight. What is more important is how the case is perceived by the public. 400 years ago, they chose to side with the old regime. I hope the same won't happen again.
Strange. What are these people doing out? Did something happen? Let's take a look around.
Have you heard? Someone's plotting against Amelazine. This is 100% the truth. Even the Chief Justice is investigating and—
What? That's it!
Our enemies are lurking in the shadows and won't easily reveal themselves. But no amount of hiding will keep us from finding—
That's exactly what I wanted to say. The guards have already begun to think about how much we owe them. Now that they're in danger—
Everyone, please stay alert to your surroundings from now on. If you see any suspicious persons, report them to the guard—
It feels like you've been following me this whole time. Did something happen?
We were informed that.
Nope. We just finished our shifts and happened to be strolling.
Have you had dinner yet? Why don't we check out the new item?
This isn't a good time to be out and about.
Come on. Don't act tough. I bet.
All right.
You shouldn't ever skip meals. Especially if you have another shift scheduled for later.
I heard even Nervilette's keeping an eye on the situation. This is the perfect chance to get promoted.
Seriously? Were you planning to shirk your duties if
Relax, I was just playing. We've worked together for years now. If something happened to them, I'd be haunted.
That's more like it. We should stand guard and—
Come and fight me instead, you cow—
Have you heard? Even the Special Patrol can—
Shh! Look! Is it that Nervilette?
Looks like there's nothing to worry about.
This is truly wonderful.
So... what?
No, I should stay where I am. My appearance could give rise to unnecessary commotion. Let us stick to our plan and return to the Palais Mermonia. The The smuggling case was solved by the joint forces of the guards and the Marechaussee Phantom. This is the one. The list of involved suspects should be... Ah, found it.
What does it say?
The principal offenders Domenico, Inica, Yuna, and others have been caught. They have been sent to the fortress of Meropide following trial. Those with close connections or mutual interests with the offenders but who did not participate in the case will not stand trial. Among them, surveillance of Essin has ceased on account of his good behavior.
So many names. Is the one who sent that threatening letter to Kiara?
Yes, there is something suspicious about Essin, to be precise. It seems like he's closely related to the core members of the smuggling case, and he...
Monsieur Neuvillette, someone claiming to be from the Spina di Rosula, he said, and I quote,
Huh? How did Navia find them so quickly?
I too am perplexed. The cafe...
Hey, Navia, we're here! Whoa. Check out all these people!
These are the people who have had recent dealings at the Marechaussee Phantom. They're usually hidden in the...
Invite them over.
Exactly. Now, I heard there's great coffee here, and so I...
Yeah, it's our pleasure to be guests of the Spina di Rosula.
I've wanted to have a meetup like...
But... Oh, well. Let's get...
Yes.
You're Essin?
Yes.
Did you write that threatening letter to Kiara?
I did, but I was just following orders.
Orders from whom?
Domenico. He was my boss. I couldn't disobey his orders.
Domenico. Where is he now?
The fortress of Meropide.
Well, I'm afraid even the Spina would have trouble looking into that place. Looks like you'll have to make the trip yourselves.
You've done more than enough. I am extremely grateful for your help.
Leave the formalities for later. You should find Domenico. If he really is the one setting up the conspiracy, it'd be best if he's exposed as soon as possible.
All right, then. Let's head to the
Coffee is life. Looks like no more free coffee for me.
This coffee smells as good as ever.
Navigating the world is a whole lot easier with a few different identities to choose from. Need me to come up with some for you? Good roll. All right, maybe I'll take one more day off and knock out the rest of the work once I'm feeling up to it.
It's Monsieur Nervalat.
Welcome to the Fortress of Meripede, dear esteemed guest.
We're back! Oh, and a greeting from none other than the Duke himself!
This isn't anything new. I figured you had important matters to discuss when the two of you, not to mention the Chief Justice, showed up. Let's assume we've gone through the pleasantries and cut right to the chase. I do remember a thing or two about Domenico. He once attempted to round up the other inmates.
Who does this guy think he is?
He once attempted to, I said, meaning that it was over before it even started. And now he's threatening Melazines, is he? To be honest, Domenico doesn't seem like much of a conspirator. The fact that the three of you bothered to personally investigate raises a flag.
He's got the same concerns we do.
I'm concerned about this incident because something similar has occurred in the past. I wish to meet Domenico in person and have my questions answered.
That's an easy one. Let me think. I think he's at...
Oh, did I hear someone say Melazine? What happened?
Sijuin! Yeah, and we're investigating. The person who threatened her seems to be...
Really? Is Kiara gonna be okay?
There's no need to worry. Clarande is protecting her as we speak.
Well, that's great. But if the criminal's still... Is there anything you can do about this?
Ah, head nurse. Do you require me to personally deal with the criminal?
Wriothesley.
Okay, I get it. I'll bring Domenico to you. That's your only demand.
Think of it as more of a humble request. I'm here on my own accord, not to formally transfer a criminal for trial. I urge you to set aside any concerns. Thanks for the trouble. Consider me in your debt.
Whoa! If Paimon were the Duke, Paimon would take this chance to ask for something really important.
Well, were I still a criminal, I'd probably ask for a lighter sentence. But I'm sure Monsieur Neuvillette would reject that. But enough jokes. I'll look for Domenico and bring him to you. Make yourselves at home. Our dear head nurse has mentioned you quite a few times, so I'm sure she has a lot to say.
Please come with me to the infirmary. Ah, and watch your step. There's some pretty dark areas, so make sure you don't trip over anything.
to know.
Now that I think about it, I can leave this place soon. Huh?
Please rest here for a moment. Oh, and would anyone like anything to...
Paimon's not that thirsty.
Thirst is a warning sign that you're dehydrated, which means you have to drink up even before... I'll bring you some tea. I'm sure you'll have a...
Typical Sishuin. Concerned about, why aren't you two saying anything?
You noticed them too. The badges they wore on their
Familiar? But if both of you say so, let's go ask them about it.
That's not a bad idea. I will stay here and wait for...
Anything you need? Oh, this? Are you interested in joining the Mutual Aid Network?
What's that?
We have a very long history, going back as far as 400 years ago. We have never had many members throughout our history, nor do we have much of a reputation, but everyone treats each other like family. Helping each other is our purpose. At the same...
Sounds like a pretty neat...
All we want is to defend ourselves. None of us have ever committed serious... But people won't give us a hard...
You two look kind of... It's the symbol of the Mutual Aid Network designed by our... From what I've heard, it's based on something called a Medal of Peace. I've never seen one of those. The first president of our network was an amazing person. Powerful as he was, he never used his strength against... All of us have a lot of respect.
Interested in joining the Mutual Aid Network? If you'd like to learn more, here's our flyer. Our slogan may have evolved over the centuries, but here, this book is for you. You're what?
We should have gathered enough information. Let's head back and talk to Neuvillette.
Did you manage to gather any intel?
The people who wore the badges belong to an organization called the Mutual Aid Network. According to them, the badge's design was inspired by the Medal of Peace.
I personally crafted 2 of them myself. They were... Carol's medal was destroyed in a fire. The only one that remained should belong...
Oh, so the network wasn't...
Monsieur Neuvillette, His Grace has requested your presence.
All right. Let us talk to him first and get to the bottom of this.
Take it easy.
Allow me to introduce this fine gentleman, Domenico. Why don't you explain everything to him?
Neuvillette? What do you want? What are you gonna do, kill me?
Calm down. I merely want to ask you if... Was it your idea to send that letter to a Melusine? Essin has already confessed, so there really isn't any need to keep hiding.
That idiot! I can't believe I trusted him.
Let me ask this another way. It was your idea to send that letter, correct?
Yes.
Who is pulling your strings?
What? You're not trying to frame me for something I haven't done, are you?
It's best if you realize the gravity of your situation. The Chief Justice of Fontaine has been personally investigating your case. I assume your previous attempt to incite unrest at the Fortress of Meripede has something to do with this as well.
I admit I acted on impulse.
I can do that.
You see, we're all reasonable people here.
I only intended to do some small business at first. Someone contacted me about delivering some goods and promised me a generous sum of more in return. After making a few trips, I was suddenly approached by the Marechaussee Phantom. They accused me of smuggling prohibited items, but I refused to accept any of that. The ignorant can be rightfully absolved from guilt, right? Well, I suspect that someone got me locked up here so they could get their hands on my goods.
And then you decided to take revenge on the Melusines?
My initial target was Neuvillette. Everyone in the Fortress of Meripede was declared guilty by him, after all. So they must more or less hold a grudge against him. But for some reason, no one wanted to team up with me. That mutual aid... In the end, I had to redirect my focus onto Melusine. I recall that Chiara was the one who confiscated my goods for inspection. So I asked one of the more but the letter was in fact addressed to Essa. I requested that he write a threat letter to Chiara and...
Am I to assume that the claims you've made are your own thoughts? Have you been in contact with any...
No.
Is it true that all members involved in the smuggling scandal have been caught?
Yes. And that's all I know.
Sigewinne, please take him back to the detention center. I'll deal with him later. So, Monsieur Neuvillette, you were concerned that there might be a shadowy faction looking to capital...
Yes. I experienced a similar incident in the past, so I had to...
And how long ago was this?
More than 400 years.
You might be overthinking this. Time can change a lot of things. Everything's different now.
What do you mean?
400 years ago, you and the Melusines you brought to Fontaine were the outliers in society. But in the present day, if someone were to threaten the safety of the Melusines, people wouldn't just sit back and do nothing. I trust that they would make different choices from before.
people standing up for Melazines on our way back to the...
Monsieur Neuvillette, the Melazines are a species you introduced to Fontaine. How the public treats... When people refused to place their trust in Melazines, it was because they were still on the fence about you, their unfamiliar Chief Justice. For almost 500 years, you've conducted every trial with impartiality. You made the right judgment each time. People no longer have any reservations about you, and even consider you a symbol of the... Right now, your every decision will impact all of Fontaine. In other words...
Paimon gets it now. No wonder no one wanted to join forces with Dominique.
I am undeserving of such high compliments. From my perspective, I have simply... It isn't anything special or worthy of praise. I'm simply fulfilling the promises I've made and searching for answers through my judgments. It is unnecessary to hold me in such high regard. The complexity of human emotions and willpower far exceed those of mine. As a matter...
There's no need to be so modest. The current state of affairs says it all. You're no longer that outsider you were before. Even if you wish to investigate something on you...
I must say that you've made a fair point. Thank you for clearing my doubts. Now that...
Huh? You're leaving?
And so soon, too? Why not stay for a cup of tea?
Thank you for the offer, but I know how this place works all too well. While some are here to redeem themselves, there will inevitably be those who harbor resentment towards me. The less time I spend here, the better. My presence could very well result in an unwanted disturbance.
In that case, I'll have to insist. I still have 2 more things to say.
Please, go ahead.
The first is about the guard who helped Domenico send that letter.
Ah, I know of what you speak. The guard was indeed deployed from the Palais Mermonia's staff. However, as I mentioned earlier, I visited today on personal business. Therefore, I leave that matter in your hands.
Well, that makes things a lot easier. Hey now, don't let your imagination run wild. Those from up there have a tendency to sympathize with others. However, down here, such thoughts will put you at high risk. I'll have a chat with the guard and remind him to take precautions.
I see no issues with that.
Great! That's one thing out of the way.
The other thing was born from my own sense of curiosity. Now, I've heard that you...
Yep. Neuvillette thought their badges looked familiar.
I noticed the small gang as well when I first took over the fortress of Meripede. They were not great in number. I've looked into their founder, Vautrin, who once stood according to existing documentation, Vautrin remained disciplined throughout his imprisonment. He had, in other words, how he presented himself in prison was very different from his behavior in court.
What? During his trial, I could sense that his feelings were complicated. He appeared to be full of resentment, and I believe...
Perhaps he had been putting on an act.
An act?
Neuvillette and Vautrin had a close relationship as superior and subordinate. Vautrin must have known that, thus, the more resentment he displayed, the clearer it would be to those present that you were upholding justice. And to those who had been sitting on the fence, Vautrin's act was... That's all from me. Does anyone else have anything?
I don't have anything to say. Apart from expressing my gratitude, that is. Well then, let us head back. No.
Please, take care.
That trial is something I rarely bring up in conversation, but I have always felt deep regret for what happened to both Carol and Vautrin. The words he spoke in court often replay in my mind, as if urging me on to do something.
But Risley said he never resented you, right? Isn't that a good thing?
I believe I now understand what he wanted to tell me. I feel conflicted about those words. How should I describe it? Surprise, relief, fear, and regret. But this blend of emotions has led me to finally understand some things. I would like to hear your thoughts, too. What do you think of me?
Paimon agrees with everything Risley said. Chief Justice, every single one of your trial, hey!
What I really think is, every trial you've ever judged has left its impression on you. And that's what makes you who you are today.
That is as I said, I find it difficult to express my emotions because I cannot fully understand myself. But I trust your judgment. Since some of these changes were not due to any specific occurrence, but emerged as a result of time itself, I will try to contemplate this further. Thank you both.
Oh, huh? It's raining! Oh no, Paimon forgot to bring an umbrella! Come on, let's hurry before it rains harder!
It's raining again? I've had enough of this weather.
There go my travel plans.
Did you read the news this morning? Quick, put away everything on the clothesline.
When is this rain going to stop?
Hydro Dragon, don't cry!
They're planning to reanimate the monster. We have to report this to the Chief Justice.
The Fortress of Maripede. It's a good place for me.
He owes me so many answers.
Nervillette? You could say he's the real symbol of Fontaine's justice.
Watch him closely. He could be trouble.
How can two completely different species possibly coexist?
Who's been threatening Melusines? Show yourself!
You will see much in the human world, from the delightful to the depressing. And one day, when you have dwelt among humanity long enough, you will be placed to bring judgment over all as a spokesperson for Fontaine's past.
Good morning, Monsieur Neuvillette! The rainy season's almost over! The skies are supposed to clear in a few days!
I hope you find time to enjoy the sunny days ahead.
Is the matter resolved?
Yep, we found the person who sent that threatening letter. Risley said he'd keep a close.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Sorry for dragging you all into...
There's no need to...
Yeah, you didn't drag us in. We got involved.
By the way, where's Kiara?
At the Palais Mermonia. More than 50 people offered to protect her. I was worried that the excess of protection would make her feel uneasy. So I asked her to stay inside.
What a relief.
Well, now it looks like the dust has fined to celebrate this joyous occasion. Monsieur Neuvillette.
That's not how you celebrate.
I will consider it.
Really?
Of course. My schedule is full for the following weeks, but I should be available next month. Come up with questions during the intervening days, and I will answer them to the best of my ability.
Yes!
Now, if you'll excuse me, I must head back to the Palais and issue a communique to... I hope it will assuage the concerns of all. Kiara?
Monsieur Neuvillette? Sorry.
It's quite all right. I'm here to tell you that we have caught the sender of that threatening letter. You're safe now.
Thank you, Monsieur. And thank you too, Traveler and Big Sis Paimon.
Do you remember Domenico? He was the sender of that letter.
Let me think. By the way, I saw Carol in my dreams just now. In my dream, she looked really happy. She held my hand and said, "Kiara, our dreams have fun." I can't remember what our dreams were anymore, and I don't know why. But I felt really happy.
I can sense your joy. It is indeed a delightful moment.
Oh, I promised to model for Alov.
Of course.
See you next time, Monsieur, Traveler, and Big Sis Pie.
See you next time.
I got a new letter from an informant. Looks like the situation has changed again.